This is Paw Print, an animal rescue community, episode 137. I'm Nancy Ree.
And I'm Harold Ree.
It's 2 full days of being surrounded by like-minded people who are all working for the same goal, watching all those animals get adopted, not just watching what's happening in my booth, in my tent, but watching what's happening in everybody else's booth and tent.
Today we have 2 special guests, Karen Schaver of Orphan Dog Rescue in Lake County, California. She'll be bringing an entire crew from Lake County to the Bay Area Pet Fair this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, September 16th and 17th. We also have author and returning guest, Paul Griffin. He's the author of a new children's book called Saving Marty, about a pig who thinks he's a dog. But first, want to feature some of the organizations that will be bringing dogs, cats, birds, and other animals to the Bay Area Pet Fair this weekend, all at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton, California. Want to say hello to the folks at Jameson Animal Rescue Ranch. Jameson Animal Rescue Ranch is a no-kill rescue and sanctuary in the Napa Valley for companion and farmed animals in need. The nonprofit provides transitional and permanent shelter, adoption and rescue services, education, advocacy, and is committed to ending animal hunger, cruelty, and overpopulation. Jameson Animal Rescue Ranch is a great organization, so make sure to stop by their booth at the Bay Area Pet Fair. Have you ever heard of a pigeon or dove rescue? Well, now you have. Petaluma Pigeon and Dove Adoptions saves domestic, unreleasable birds that would otherwise be killed in the San Francisco Bay Area. They provide vet care, foster homes, and adoptions. Since 2007, Petaluma has rescued more than 800 birds and helped countless others through coaching, education, and referral. If you want to take a look at some of these beautiful birds, make sure to go to the booth of Petaluma Pigeon and Dove Adoptions. Cat Town. We love Cat Town. They're a nonprofit rescue helping Oakland's most vulnerable shelter cats since 2011. Cat Town's goal is to give every cat a chance to find a loving home. Through innovative programs and partnerships, they've helped over 1,700 cats, redefining what's possible for shy, senior, and other at-risk cats who need a second chance. If you're interested in adopting a cat full of personality, make sure to stop by Cat Town. And finally, want to say hi to Darlene, Linda, Cynthia, and the crew at Bay Area Animal Rescue Crew. Founded in August 2015, driven by a passion and love for saving animals. They provide loving foster homes to homeless animals, mostly dogs and cats, but also small animals, until they find them their new forever family. At BARC, B-A-A-R-C, they are dedicated to finding the right fit for all adoptable animals. Make sure to stop by Bay Area Animal Rescue Crew this weekend at the Bay Area Pet Fair. Okay, folks, moving on to the story of Karen Schaver and Orphan Dog Rescue. They're committed to a goal of clearing the shelters, that is, the Lake County Animal Care and Control, as well as the City of Clear Lake Animal Control, by bringing as many dogs as possible down to the Bay Area Pet Fair. If you want to learn more about Karen Schaver and Orphan Dog Rescue, go to our show notes at thisispawprint.com/137.
I run Orphan Dog Rescue, which is a small local nonprofit rescue in Lake County, California. And I've been working with Pet Food Express for the last 15 years and doing the Bay Area Pet Fair from the very first year they held it. It's always been a wonderful, amazing event for us. It's always the epitome of the year. We get the most adoptions done, and we bring a huge number of animals every year because we know we're going to get them adopted.
Can you remember approximately how many animals you got adopted last year through the Bay Area Pet Fair?
55.
Oh my goodness, 55. That must have been the most out of any organization that was there, right?
I don't know. I know that there was over 1,000 adoptions total.
That's right.
And there's a lot of groups there. There's a lot of people doing this work, and everybody's go-getters, and we all want the same thing. So there were a lot of good adoptions last year.
Absolutely. And I know now that they've relocated to the Alameda County Fairgrounds, I think they're shooting for a lot more than 1,000.
I'm super excited about that. It's a longer drive for us, but it is going to be huge, it sounds like, and so many more activities and so much more room. I'm really looking forward to it.
Tell us a little bit about beautiful Lake County for those folks who may not know or have not been to the Clear Lake County area. Tell us a little bit about it.
Lake County is geographically isolated from the rest of Northern California by mountains all the way around it. In the past, it's been a resort community. In the 50s and 60s, people would come and swim and play at the lake. It's the home of California's largest natural lake. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's hundreds of thousands of miles of open space with Mendocino National Forest. Boggs Mountain has the best mountain biking in all of California, and lots of other natural resources here. There's the geysers, all kinds of good things, and a booming, just beginning, wine industry that's producing some really great wines. We also have the highest level of poverty, and we're one of the poorest counties in California.
Okay.
We were the victims of a devastating wildfire, not one, not two, but 3 years in a row.
When fires or disasters like that strike, how long does it really take Clear Lake and Lake County to really recover from those?
I don't think there has been a recovery yet. There's more people moving out of the county. The rentals are going up. People can't rent here anymore. They also can't afford to buy. People are having trouble buying and getting insurance. There's a lot of nice houses that aren't being sold. People want to sell them, move to different houses, or even move out of the county, and they can't. There's other houses that are going pretty quick. So the housing market is up and down, and it's hard to keep track of it, actually. There's a lot of people trying to rebuild, and the county's having a hard time keeping up with the permits and the rebuilding. And there's a lot of people that can't find housing or jobs at all. So a little bit of everything.
What's the impact of all those things that you're stating about Lake County, the impact on dogs and cats and other animals? It's
been pretty harsh. Areas of the county are doing pretty well with their animal control because they have the support of Lake County Animal Care and Control. And Lake County Animal Care and Control is able to stay on top of things for 90% of the county. The last percent is the city of Clear Lake, who canceled their contract with Lake County Animal Care and Control 8 years ago, and it's been going downhill ever since. The city of Clear Lake is a mess. There's dog attacks. There's packs of dogs roaming the city streets. There's literally streets they aren't paved. It's dirt roads running hither and yon, and my four-wheel drive can't even make it up some of those roads. The houses are a mess. It's the poorest of the poor live there. They don't take care of their animals, and they keep getting more, and they keep breeding more. There's very limited animal control. It's run by the City of Clear Lake Police, and the actual animal control officer is wonderful, and she's trying to do a good job. She has no support. The animals, if they're impounded, are kept in a Quonset hut. They're sharing a Quonset hut with the county or the city vehicle repair shop. So the place where they repair the trucks that the city workers use is the exact same building where the animals are being housed in portable temporary kennels. And they've been temporary there now for 3 years.
Not an ideal space for animal rescue.
No.
Okay.
No, and it's hot, and there's no air conditioning. It's loud. They don't have a full-time staff taking care of the animals that are impounded there. They have people come in, sporadically, part-time, and the animal control officers should be out, helping the animals and getting them out of trouble, and she can't. It's just too much. It's too much for any one person to handle. And the city of Clear Lake is really falling down on the job about taking care of this problem. Not 2 days ago, a woman was attacked on the streets, and she has numerous bites up and down both legs. She threw herself down on top of her little dog that was about to be attacked by a gang of dogs, and she stayed there. She held her position and protected her dog. And I'm sure a lot of us would have done the same thing. She has bites all up and down her body before the attacking dogs finally stopped.
We're talking to Karen Schaver of Orphan Dog Rescue in Lake County. She is taking on the enormous task of bringing some dogs down from the Lake County Animal Care and Control, as well as the City of Clear Lake Animal Control, to in a way, right? Clear the shelters.
Clear the shelters. They need room. They need to be able to house the dogs that need help. They have some nice dogs there. They do try everything they can to hang on to the dogs that are nice, try and find the owners. The shelter is just impacted. They don't have many cages to begin with. So we're going in and we're taking everybody who's adoptable. We'll get them spayed and neutered and bring them down to the pet fair with us. We've had 2 trainers go in and look at the dogs and check them out, test them, temperament test them, and see if they're adoptable. Make sure that they're okay.
How many animals are you planning to bring to the Bay Area Pet Fair?
We're still picking, but right now we're up to 40 that we know for sure are going.
Okay, great.
And there's more coming in every day, and we're choosing and getting them cleared by the trainers. And as they get cleared, we get them over to the vet and get them spayed and neutered and find a spot for them to be. Sometimes they have to go back to the shelter for a few days until we get them out permanently.
As you're reviewing all the different dogs, any dogs that really kind of stick out to you or have really touched you in the past couple weeks?
There's one that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to bring her to the Bay Area Pet Fair because she's so shy. She's absolutely marvelous. She has my heart. She's 45 pounds, a little shepherding mix. Her name is Daisy. We pulled her a couple weeks ago, and she was terrified, absolutely terrified. But once she got here to my place, a lot of the dogs I fostered here in my home, it took her about a day. And then she lightened up and became a whole different dog. But when I try and take her away from here, she goes back to being very, very, very shy. So she's going to take some time. She is an absolutely marvelous, happy dog. She just doesn't really want to go anywhere but her home.
Right. So while Daisy's a special dog, might be tough. The road trip might be tough on her.
The road trip would be tough on her. So we'll probably not bring her this trip, which would be, I'm sure I could find somebody for her. It's just, she wouldn't do well.
Yeah. Well, hey, if someone's willing to make the road trip up to Clear Lake, we might have a special dog for you. So
yeah.
So we'll keep
somebody
that in
who
mind.
doesn't need to take her dog anywhere. I mean, this dog just likes being at home.
Right. A real homebody.
Perfectly happy here.
Yeah, total homebody.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Exactly. She's a sweetheart.
Any other dogs that come to mind?
I have a bunch of dogs that we've found recently. These dogs weren't pulled from the shelter. They were just found. So there was one litter of 10 fox terriers that were found in a cow pasture, and we got them in. And then there was a litter of 6 that were found in a vineyard. And then there was 2 that were found in an abandoned car at Lake Borax. And that's all in the last 2 weeks. Just dogs left everywhere.
Unbelievable.
There was one highway. I know. And it's happening more and more. People are just taking the dogs, and I'm pretty sure they're all coming from Clear Lake. They're just taking the dogs and leaving them wherever they can because there's absolutely no help for the animals in the city of Clear Lake. There was highway that was found on the highway, and he got adopted last weekend, actually, just 2 days ago, Saturday.
Oh, good news, right?
So he's fine. Oh, yeah. They go out. They come in, they go out. But right now I have a whole bunch of dogs that were, out and about on their own.
Yeah. Well, they're survivors, right?
Uh-huh. They're survivors, and they're all young and happy and well-adjusted, and they've been here a couple weeks. They're healthy. They've been vet checked, and they're ready to go to their new home.
If someone were to ask you, hey, Karen, why should I consider a rescue dog? What would you say to that?
They're absolutely happy animals. They're so grateful for anything that you can give them. Sometimes they come with a little bit of baggage, but most of the time they're just happy, well-adjusted animals that simply want love and care and some food laid down a couple times a day and maybe a warm foot to sleep on. They don't really ask for much. And most of the time people should be able to manage to care for them and have a wonderful relationship with an animal that can last up to 15, 20 years.
And they'd be so grateful.
And they're so grateful. They really are. They know.
In your opinion, what makes the Bay Area Pet Fair special to you?
Oh, gosh. The Bay Area Pet Fair is special to me because it's 2 full days of being surrounded by like-minded people who are all working for the same goal. it's watching all those animals get adopted, not just watching what's happening in my booth, in my tent, but watching what's happening in everybody else's booth and tent, and seeing all those happy animals and the happy faces. It's the sheer number of people that are coming out to celebrate with us, people who have adopted before. We see every year, at least 10, sometimes a dozen people that we've adopted to previously. They'll come back and visit us every single year and show us their friend that they got at the Bay Area Pet Fair. It's an awesome experience. It's a lot of fun.
You say you've worked with Pet Food Express for over 15 years. What makes Pet Food Express a great partner for rescue organizations?
They're very supportive. They provide a facility for us to set up with. The staff is always friendly and open. The staff is well trained and they take classes. So I can adopt a dog out, turn them over to the staff of Pet Food Express, and that staff member will help them find exactly the right things that they need to take their new friend home. They have given hundreds of thousands of dollars to rescue throughout the years. They're selfless. The people that run Pet Food Express are extremely generous. They seem to know what we need and what we want. They've tried all kinds of different ideas, opening up their own shelter, opening up a cat cafe, opening up new stores in areas where other people wouldn't have a store. They're absolutely amazing, and they've never sold an animal, not one ever.
What's the best way to look up all these amazing animals online?
Orphandog.org, and as we pull them in or pick which ones we're taking from the shelter, we'll get them posted as soon as possible. Orphandog.org. A lot of them are going to be last minute and won't ever be posted on the website, so they'll just be surprises. They'll be happy little surprises that somebody can come meet Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. And then finally, any special requirements, any home checks required, anything like that?
We like to see proof of home ownership or a letter from the landlord. We don't need to see how much people have paid for their house, just that they are paying a mortgage or that they have that letter saying that they're allowed to have a pet, their lease, saying that it's okay to have a pet. We try and get them to find out from their insurance if they have any insurance restrictions on their home. We look up the houses on Google and make sure that we can see the fence, the fenced yard or whatever the house is supposed to have. And that's about it. If we can get a vet reference, we call a vet reference.
Bring some paperwork, whether it's a mortgage, lease, check with your insurance company. And if you have
pictures of your yard.
Yep.
Pictures of the yard.
Pictures of a yard. And if you have a veterinarian relationship, bring that name.
Yep.
Okay.
And we try and make it as easy as possible and still have good, solid adoptions with good, solid people. And luckily for us, there's a lot of good people out there. All right. There really is.
Well, it's this Saturday and Sunday at the Alameda County Fairgrounds from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Look for the Bay Area Pet Fair, and more specifically, look for Orphan Dog Rescue.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You're welcome, Karen. Anything else that you want to share before we sign off?
I just want to say that there's a lot of good animals here in Lake County, and they deserve better care than what they're getting from, some of the people here. But there's also a lot of good dog owners here in Lake County, and we have a lot of happy families here that are taking very good care of their dogs. And we have a couple of blights, areas that aren't doing so well, and we need to help those areas that aren't doing so well and make things better for everybody, not just the animals, but the people as well.
We just want to say thank you to Karen Schaver of Orphan Dog Rescue. Make sure to go to their website, orphandog.org. Stop by their huge booth, and who knows, you may be bringing home a wonderful Lake County dog. Now moving on to Paul Griffin. Paul is now publishing his 7th book called Saving Marty. He's written a variety of books for young adults and children. Saving Marty is recommended for children 10 and over, and I'm sure you'll be seeing it at your local school book fair. Paul shares a lot about what's happened to him in the past year, including his previous book, When Friendship Followed Me Home, becoming a father for the first time, not only a father, but an adoptive father of a high school-age teenager named Annie. If you want to learn more about Paul Griffin, go to our show notes at thisispawprint.com/137.
The story is about a boy who rescues a pig who thinks that he's a dog. And I guess I started thinking about that 10 years ago. I had this dog that I named Marty, after Marty Scorsese. I had 3 dogs at the time. I had the Goodfellas. I had Marty Scorsese. I had Bobby De Niro. And I had Ray Ray Liotta.
And you have, what, two remain or one remains?
Yeah. Ray Ray passed since we last spoke. But, he was... absolutely no regrets or worries about Ray Ray. He just had the purest soul, and he was the Buddha dog, Yeah. And died peacefully right in my arms. I had a Buddhist chant going in his ear when he went, and it was very peaceful. And we buried him with all the other dogs out at my mother-in-law's house out on Long Island. So it was good, Gave him a hero's burial with wreaths and greens and flowers and all that. So that was nice. But now we have Mimi and Eddie left, and they're doing great. They like their new sister Annie, and but Marty. Going back to Marty, 10 years ago, he had epilepsy. He was like a boxer, mastiff mix. I don't know what he was, but he was enormous. He was 120 pounds, and he just looked like a muscle. He was just a muscle on 4 huge legs, and he was pretty scary looking. Smushed in face. And I remember one time I was at the park, and he had a seizure. And he let him seize. And when he got up, he was kind of wobbling around. When a dog has a seizure, you leave them alone. It's the same for a human. You just kind of clear the area and let them get through it. And he was wobbling around, and he started pushing. Oh, that's Mimi right there. If you can hear her, I don't know. She just yawned. Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear it. It's okay.
Okay. And he was kind of pushing through the dirt, like almost like he was foraging, in this kind of bed that they had there of ivy. And this little girl runs up and she said, "Your dog looks like a pig." And I thought, dog who looks like a pig, maybe a pig who thinks he's a dog. So that was kind of, I started thinking about it back then. And then I read Jonathan Safran Foer's book, Eating Animals, and just was so disturbed by how pigs are treated. In like how we grow pork in this country. Now, granted, he wrote that book in 2005, and I don't, I try to keep tabs, but I look, we have laws in this country that prohibit the filming of slaughterhouses.
It's called ag gag.
Ag gag. Yeah. You can't completely fault these guys. They're working in this horrendous job. Like their whole day is killing. It's killing in the worst way. You've seen it. I mean, going back to the movie Baraka, how we grow meat in this country. It really, you wonder why people are walking around with empathy deficiency these days. I mean, it's hard to keep empathy when so much of that industry is our demand for meat. It's us. It's the consumers. Our demand for this product. I mean, they can't grow it any other way. They can't grow it fast enough. Yeah. So they have to find more and more efficient ways. So it's everybody's to blame. But the way pigs are treated was just particularly awful. And they are smarter than dogs. That's the problem. We assign souls to dogs and cats. Like, these poor pigs, they're more intelligent than dogs. Just those two things came together, and this character started to emerge. And I don't know, it just became a book,
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about how the main character, Lorenzo, finds Marty?
Well, his family owns a struggling peach orchard, and they're doing whatever they can to kind of make ends meet. And his mom takes in a pig from the farm next door after that farm is purchased by a big, agricultural company, and takes in the pig, and the pig has piglets shortly thereafter. Pig and the piglets are sold off, but one of them is left behind. just in the sweep when the sweep to take the pigs to auction, the runt is left behind, and the farm's dog Bella adopts this runt piglet and starts to raise it as a dog. So that's kind of how that whole transition takes place. But as I've gone around the country doing when I was touring the previous book, When Friendship Followed Me Home, that had a dog in it as well, and I would hear stories. People would say, that's true. Pigs really eat. Like if you raise a pig in a family with dogs, they will act like dogs. So they can adapt. I mean, as we know, pigs, they have learned to adapt very well wherever you put them. They'll eat what's there. My wife Risa was on a job. She works for House Hunters International, and she was shooting in Hawaii, and she said that they had to build the farmers have to build these giant fences around the agriculture, because the pigs, they're great, they're really good at finding it, and the wild pigs, they'll come right in and eat it right up, really fast too. So they adapt.
Wild pigs are, I believe, nearly unstoppable. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, people have tried to build pretty much like walls and fences, and pigs find a way. So
yeah. I learned that they can smell, they can identify scents from 5 miles away. 5 miles away. And I forget how far underground, but their sense of smell is remarkable. Yeah.
So with that said, to tell us a little bit about the plot of the story.
Well, he's got this best friend who, going back to like a year and a half ago, my wife Risa found out about this program for kids who were about to age out of the orphanage system. That they still have orphanages down in Colombia, in Bogota. They call them instituciones. And these kids are about to age out. When they turn 16, they're not eligible to be adopted anymore. And the older they get, the less likely it is they are to be adopted. So she found out about this program, and it was to bring kids up to America. Mostly in Denver and in New York, but really all across the country, and just give them like a nice summer, like a nice last summer before they're about to age out. So we found out about this young woman who was going to be in the program, and she was an artist. She was a singer and a writer, and her little, bio, they put a little video up of the kids. She didn't talk about herself. She just sang this beautiful, sad song in Spanish. And Risa and I said, "Oh yeah, we got to get this kid up for a few weeks, and just take her around, show her a great time." And we did, and we fell in love with her. So the past year and some has been doing the paperwork to adopt her. So as we were doing that, we were Skyping with her a couple times a week, and we hired a tutor to help her work with English, and I was really inspired, by her story. I started working on her memoir with her over the last year or so, and her memoir inspired this character by the name of Petaluma, who was in the book Saving Marty. Petaluma is this amazing prodigy in terms of music, much like Annie is, and she is Lorenzo's best friend. And Petaluma has her eyes on a life filled with music. She wants to make her living as an artist, and she is driven at the age of 11 and 12 to make this happen. She can't start too young. So Lorenzo is her guitarist. He's her strumming guy, and she gets out there in front and sings. So the two of them are working really hard toward this life where they're gonna, be together forever, best friends forever, and they're gonna make music their means of income. But Paloma has the true talent, and Lorenzo, while he's a good backup drummer, he doesn't have that thing that Paloma has, that gift to be able to be in front of many people, hundreds and sometimes thousands of people. They get up on this stage at this fair, and Paloma just blows the doors off the place, and Lorenzo's just terrified. He can't wait till the thing is over, being up there. So Paloma ends up getting into a music school, a special music school, and I don't want to be that dad who's like, hey, look at these pictures of my kid. Like, she learned how to pick her nose today. Isn't that amazing? Bragging about my kid. But Annie just a couple of weeks ago got into a special music school in Lincoln Center. It's called Special Music School.
Yay.
Yeah, it's awesome. Her talent is really taking her places. So she just started last week. But Paloma gets into a school like that. A bit of foreshadowing there, I guess. The book foreshadows real life. So Lorenzo's left back on the farm with Marty, the pig, and with Bella, the dog. And he's got to try to figure out what to do now. Like, this life of music is just not going to happen for him. So he's trying to figure out a way to do something, to contribute, and he doesn't realize that just taking care of this pig who is becoming enormous, and a 400-pound pig who thinks he's a dog can be a little trouble. Like, a dog who jumps up on you, a dog who weighs 12 pounds, not so much of a problem. But when a pig jumps up on you, 400 pounds, it could mean major tragedy. And at one point that does happen in the book. So he's got to kind of negotiate that. And meanwhile, to figure out his future, he's looking back toward his past. And he grew up without a dad, and all he has, in terms of not quite direct contact with his father, is this series of letters that his father wrote to him from in a war zone overseas. The father's was a medic, was a medic in the Army. The letters are revealed every few chapters throughout the book, and there's a mystery there, like what happened to the father, like how did he die, and this boy's quest to know his dad sort of drives the second half of the book. And that the revelation of his dad's life, and his dad was a musician as well, and a really talented musician, could sing and play guitar, and Lorenzo wants to know his dad, to know if he could ever be like his dad and have that kind of talent at something. That kind of dovetails with this idea that we have to protect Marty. You can't be walking him around town anymore. People are looking at him funny when the kid's got when the pig has an army belt around his neck for a collar, because there's no dog collar big enough. So it all, the story of protecting Marty and finding out about the Marty from the past, the Marty who's Lorenzo's dad, those two dovetail, and the backstory of the story of the father is really the way the boy figures out how to save the Marty the pig.
Just so that folks are clear, because sometimes Paul Griffin's real life tends to merge a little bit with your literary world. You and your wife, I mean, you're actually not kidding. I mean, you and your wife in the past year actually have adopted a young woman, Annie.
My mother said to me the other day, it's like, Annie's the best thing that ever happened to you. And Risa was standing next to me. I was like, with Risa. And Mom's like, yeah, that goes without saying. But I am very fortunate to have two, just remarkable family members, immediate family members. Just It's awesome.
Well, Annie is your first, I guess technically your first child. I mean, how does it feel like being a dad?
I got to tell you, Harold, I've been working with kids since 1989, and 3 o'clock rolled around. I was always okay, with kind of leaving the school or whatever jail I was working and being like, all right, I can go home. And, I thought I was going to be with Annie like, hey, it's 3 o'clock. Don't you have someplace to go, But it hasn't been like that at all. It's just been like I can't spend enough time with her. I mean, she's just so cool. It's like she's just a soul from someplace else. She's an old soul, I mean, she spent 10 years rather in the instituciones and moving around. Like they move the kids around a lot. She doesn't even know how many she was in, and moving from school to school every few months. And the things that happened before she was 5 years old, and the things that led up to her being removed, from where she was living, which was a corrugated shack, on the outskirts of Bogota. We're not good. And but at 15, she has no bitterness. She looks at her father, who I gotta, I'm trying to be as compassionate as Annie is here. Just as Annie says, and I don't know how she finds this within her heart, that poor man, like what must have happened to him in his life to make him do the things that he did to me. It's really something. She's got that compassion and that way not to be bitter. Just how can you not want to spend a lot of time with that kind of person? She just being around her, you just want to be a better person. So wow. She's amazing. She's like 150 years old in a 15-year-old's body.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. I love doing homework with her. I love cooking breakfast for her. Risa yells at me, you got to let her do some of these things herself. But I'm like, I don't know. I just love it. I love walking with her. I love talking with her. I love reading with her. I love working with her on her memoir. I love when she sings. I try to strum horribly in the background, and she doesn't make fun of my strumming. And I love watching her learn how to. She's teaching herself how to play piano. A friend gave us a keyboard that she wasn't using, and Annie's in there in her room just banging away. I love watching her paint the walls in her room. She's painted them with all these beautiful murals, and she's a knockout. She's just an amazing soul. So it's something I never expected. Wow. So yeah, fatherhood's good.
Okay, all right.
It's a short story.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're talking to Paul Griffin. He's the author of Saving Marty. But, as we're talking about Saving Marty, we're talking a lot about Paul's own life the past year, which is sounds like a bit of a whirlwind, right?
It's been a good whirlwind. It's I think of the poor folks in Florida right now, in Texas and Cuba and all the places. This has been it has been just this. Just getting hit from different directions with things that kind of have to happen in terms of just meeting the mark in terms of work, getting working on the stories, and in kind of building the infrastructure here for my daughter to succeed. And this is the good whirlwind. There's been no lack of interesting things happening. So yeah, it's been an awesome last year.
Now, Saving Marty, it launches Tuesday, September 19th. Now, how many books have you published so far?
Saving Marty is the 7th one that is published, and next spring I have one coming out. It's an adventure novel for kids who are a little bit older. It's about a plane hijacking, and working on the next middle grade novel with my editor Kate Harrison at Dial Books, Penguin Young Readers Group. My absolute, she's my guardian angel, and my partner in these stories. Just working with Kate on figuring out the next middle grade story, and hopefully we'll get that one out in 2019. So yeah, it's good. It's like really thrilled to be busy with the stories.
Well, really, what I'm asking is so now this is your 7th book published. How does it feel during launch week or approaching a launch?
there's a little bit of anticipation, like how is it going to do? The review's going to be okay, and that never goes away. That fear that I wrote a really bad book that's going to crash and burn. At the end of the day, I go back to the idea that so little of this is in my control at this point. Back when I was writing the book and working with my editor, I had the choice to take the notes and listen and work with my editor and collaborate. And I always do that because I've always found that just makes whatever I had in mind so much better. So I did all that work, and now the idea is to go around with the book and get it out with the kids. And fall's going to be busy. I'm going around a bit. I'm doing starting a tour on Monday the 18th. I fly out, and I'm gone for a week there, and that's going to be great. I'm going to Chicago, and I'm starting in New York at this. If I can give a plug for this amazing bookstore called It's called Books of Wonder, and it's a New York City institution down in Chelsea. It's a children's bookstore, and it's my favorite bookstore in New York. And they lost their lease in Chelsea, but they're moving uptown to the Upper West Side. So I'm dying to do this event at the new location, just to try to bring in as many people as I can to get them to know about this new location. So Books of Wonder, for any of you in New York, is moving to 84th Street, and 3 p.m. on Sunday the 17th. I'm going to be there with my daughter, Annie, and she's going to be singing. There's a bit of music in the book, in Saving Marty, and she will be singing songs from the book. So if you're around on the Upper West Side at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 17th, West 84th Street, between Broadway and Amsterdam, on the north side of the street, Books of Wonder. Come on down and do all your Christmas shopping early.
We just want to say thank you to Paul Griffin for sharing his story. His book, Saving Marty, is launching on Tuesday, September 19th, and you can go to paulgriffinstories.com to learn more. We just want to say thank you to Karen Schaver, Paul Griffin, as well as the Bay Area Pet Fair. You can find more at thisispawprint.com/137. If you want to meet me or Nancy, we'll be there at the Bay Area Pet Fair. I'll be the guy with glasses, headphones, and a microphone talking to a bunch of random people who I've never met before. So make sure to say hello. If you want to listen to more episodes of Paw Print, including our episode with Mike Murray, the man behind the Bay Area Pet Fair, you can find us on your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcasts. Make sure to type in Paw Print Animal Rescue and hit the subscribe button to get the latest episodes immediately. You can also find us on social media. We'll be giving as many updates as possible about the Bay Area Pet Fair. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Look for our handle, This is Paw Print, all one word. We just want to thank you so much for sharing Paw Print with your friends and family. We've now been listened to in over 130 countries and territories around the world. So thank you. Remember, you spread a positive message of love and peace by saving an animal. Have a great day, everyone, and see you next time, or at the Bay Area Pet Fair on Paw Print.
Is a production of EVER Education.
You can't handle the truth.